Hello Year 11 and welcome to your third lesson in our new unit, People and the Biosphere. Today you have a series of tasks to complete, but I would like you to make sure that you submit the last two tasks, so that is task 2 and task 3, to your class teacher by the end of the lesson. So you're going to need to submit the 4-mark PEQ and your answers to the recap questions at the end of the lesson. So today your title is Factors Affecting Biomes, and this is going to be over 2 lessons. So the first lesson we're going to be focusing on global factors that have affected the location of our biomes, but you also need to understand that there are local, more localized factors that also affect the types of biomes we find in different places. You need to be able to describe the global factors affecting the location of biomes and also explain these, demonstrating excellent knowledge and understanding. So on the board here, you can see 4 images of different factors that affect the local or global distribution of biomes. I'd like you to just have a think about what you think each photograph is representing. So hopefully you have recognised this picture, the first picture here, to be soil. So the type of soil you will learn over the next 2 lessons is really important in determining what vegetation grows and therefore what biome can be found within a different area. We then have the amount of sunlight that different places will receive. So sunlight is directly linked to latitude, which is a global factor that we'll be looking at today. Also, altitude. Altitude is the height above sea level, so this is more localized. So this is a photo of Mount Kilimanjaro, and we'll be looking at this as a case study in more detail next lesson. But Mount Kilimanjaro is located actually very close to the equator, so should have a very warm, hot, humid environment. But as you can see, this mountain is obviously going to have a very different climate to what we would expect based on its latitude. And then finally, rainfall. Rainfall can be largely controlled through different pressure belts and the atmospheric circulation system, once again referring to more global factors affecting biomes. So to summarise, over the next 2 lessons, you need to have a really good understanding of the global factors that will affect biome distribution and the more local factors. Today we're going to be focusing on pressure belts and latitude, and if you need to, take some time now just to reread the definition of ecosystems and biomes and copy this down into your class notes. So your first task is to complete this small table. These are the 2 global factors that we're going to explore today, and they are going to also form the basis for your practice exam question towards the end of the lesson. So for each of them, I'd like you to describe what it is and then explain how it impacts ecosystems or biomes. So on the PowerPoint on Satchel One, you can type into this table yourself, or you can draw it out into your class notes and write it up yourself. The first slide we're going to look at will be relating to latitude, so be ready to make some notes. Hopefully you already have a really good understanding of what latitude is. Latitude is the distance a place is from the equator. It's always measured in degrees, with 0 degrees being the equator and 90 degrees north being the North Pole, with 90 degrees south being the South Pole. To give you an idea of where we are between 55 and 60 degrees north of the equator. How does latitude affect biomes? So in the explanation part of your table, you can now spend some time copying down this word fill using the words in the pink box to help you fill in the gaps. The second part of your table refers to pressure belts. So what I would like you to do is, once again, write down a description of what a pressure belt is. So in the pink box you can see that pressure belts are alternating areas of low and high pressure on Earth as a result of global wind patterns. So this is referring to our atmospheric circulation, so looking at the Hadley, Ferrel and polar cells and looking at where low pressure and high pressure forms on Earth. Here it says, how do pressure belts affect biomes? So in the green box it reads, low pressure is found at the equator and at mid-latitudes, such as the United Kingdom. Low pressure brings rainfall to these regions, air rises, cools, condenses and forms rain. High pressure is found around 30 degrees and 90 degrees north and south of the equator. At these areas, air sinks, moisture is evaporated and no clouds are formed. We have spoken at length about this last lesson, so I'm hoping that you're now understanding how pressure belts affect biome distribution, with high pressure and low pressure creating the perfect conditions for specific biomes. The first task we would like you to make sure you complete and submit to your teacher is this practice exam question. So write it out now and you can annotate it as I go through the bug. So explain how global factors affect the distribution of biomes. Explain means why have global factors caused biomes to be found in certain places. So why do global factors result in biomes being found in different places on Earth? Global factors we have looked at are pressure belts and latitude. Distribution is referring to where they are found. Biomes could be tundra, desert, taiga, tropical rainforests or temperate forests. And then it's a 4-mark question, which means you need 2 developed points. So you are going to need to, for this question, explain how pressure belts affect the distribution of some biomes and explain how latitude does too. You can use the information from the slides that we've just been through and the information from your table in order to answer this properly. The mark scheme for this question says that you will be awarded 1 mark for an identification of a reason, so that would be your pressure belt or your latitude, and a further mark for an explanation of the reason. You obviously need to make sure you are talking about both pressure belts and latitude and explaining them. So your final task and another task that we would like you to please submit to your class teacher is on global factors. So I would like you to answer the questions coming up on the board to the best of your ability and submit them on Satchel One. This is a really good recap of global factors and everything we've learnt so far about world biomes. So it's a really good bit of revision. So just to recap, the tasks that you need to complete today are the table, the PEQ and the recap questions. You're welcome to submit all 3 tasks as one to your class teacher, or if not, you just need to make sure you have uploaded task 2 and task 3 to Satchel One. We'll speak to you all again next week.